Hey friends, it's been a while. It's always been a while. Everything's so crazy. I hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to hop on and talk about a bunch of different changes happening. That seems to be the theme of my life about every 6 months. And usually it turns out good, but it's quite hectic and sometimes feels super chaotic as I'm going through it. But I'm actually in the process of renaming my business and rebranding my business, which has been a long time coming. It's something that I wanted to do for a while, and I think I felt a little intimidated by the process, and maybe a little bit even stuck because I don't know. I'm pretty quiet and private about things, and the couple of people that I opened up to were like, well, why would you want to do that? And, why would you want to change the whole name of your business? And so, not to talk smack about anybody or throw anyone under the bus, but my business was actually named by someone else. And this is not someone who's in my life anymore. And it is not somebody who I was romantic with, but it was somebody that was in my life for a very long time. And, energetically, I just feel strongly like it's time to let go of that. Again, I have felt that for a while, and then the tug has become stronger and stronger and stronger. And I was on a girls' weekend camping trip recently, and I opened up to my friends and I said, I know you guys aren't gonna say anything to anybody. Like, who are they gonna talk to? But I'm thinking about rebranding myself and renaming my business, and I was stuck on the name. And one of the ladies, while we were hiking, came up with the name of my business. It is very rare that I would give somebody control over something that important and vital to my life, and this is the second time that I'm doing that, but I really, really love the name. And the name is not yogic in nature, and I kind of wanted that, and I wanted something very grounding and meaningful to me. And so all will be revealed soon. My logo, I just, I'm trying to save money on certain things, so I'm not taking the time for a professional logo, so I made one up for myself very quickly. It's not my favorite, but it was the best option for now. And I'm really excited. The name has a dual meaning, and I think it's high time that I switched things around, because it seems like mountain life has had this beautiful effect on me, and things are going in a very unique direction for me. Being a yoga studio teacher was not my favorite thing in the whole world. Again, this is not knocking people who are yoga studio teachers and who own yoga studios. Good for you. There's a place for it. I did it for a long time. I was a student in studios for a long time, and I was a teacher in studios for a while. I actually love teaching yoga in a gym more than a studio. I always have. I don't know. That's just always been my preference. People say that, being a gym yoga teacher is crap. I've heard some harsh criticisms and judgments against that, and I don't understand why, because I think if anything else, it's such provides such high value to a gym environment to have a really highly qualified, good yoga teacher. And I don't go around bragging about myself, but I think I'm a pretty dang good yoga teacher. And if I didn't think that, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing. So, I do feel that I have something to offer, and I feel that my skill set is unique, and that's the whole point, right? It's not to try to stand out, but I like to do things different. I like to create experiences. I love combining animals and nature and all of the things that I've learned as a mental health professional, into my business model. So I just wanted to hop on and kind of give a heads up that I will be launching this soon. People would say, now's not the time, for all my esoteric friends, it's Mercury retrograde and things are energetically volatile. And I just feel like it's never a good time, but it's a new moon and it's eclipse season. And I think that it's just a really good time to do this. So I'm in the process of forming it as an LLC, and that'll be done within a week. I will probably announce it officially come Monday. I've already started changing over. I'm working with my insurance company on getting the name changed on my insurance policy, my certificates, and I'm changing it on my waivers. I took Carrie.soulpurposewellness off of my Instagram. If anybody's noticed that, I don't know who the heck pays attention to that. And now it's just Carrie.wholeshoe. And so I will be doing a better job of separating out my personal from my professional. Sometimes I mush it all into one because I have a lot to say about a variety of things. And then sometimes I'll just throw in posts about my kids or, I don't know, orgasms. You know me. I run the gamut. I'm not shy about dipping into the shadows and the darkness of things or the perversion of things, because I think there's a place for it all. And it's really interesting too. I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, it's so funny people's reaction when you talk about things like that, because it's so human nature. It's like when women talk about periods and menstrual cycles, and other people get very, there's like this awkward silence or this weirdness, you kind of like see it on people's faces. I'm not talking like sitting down at someone's house for dinner and being like, hey, I want to talk to you about my menstrual cycle. Yeah, there's appropriate times, but I've even seen some women get super, super skittish about stuff like that. I always find it very, very interesting because really it's just human nature. It's science, people. It's science. And that brings me to a few other things. There's a bunch of events coming up. I am like the event queen now. I love coordinating. I love planning. I love people say to me, how do you keep up? I absolutely love what I do. I love running so many different events. So I have created yoga athlons, and that is a hike, yoga, and paddle. And I have 2 of those upcoming. My first one is the 29th. There's still space in there. I believe I have, at this point, 12 registrants, and I was only taking 15. So just a little bit of space. I have my aerial yoga wellness retreat coming up in June. There's a couple spots left for that. We have yoga and trail rides at JMG Ranch with Cowboy Jeff, and aerial yoga and trail rides. I have a couple of things that will be announced soon that are kind of being done on the down low. Partnering with different people. I love collaboration. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love the idea of partnership. As lone wolf as I could be, I really do love working with other people. And, it always has to be right partnership for me. And I feel like the people that I'm in alignment with right now, it's working. And there's new people coming in, and I'm super excited about it because I really love these ladies. I think they have beautiful gifts to offer and wisdom, and I think our offerings are going to be very unique. I think that there's a need for it. It is a little bit more esoteric in nature and spiritual, which is, another thing that I wanted to address. Is, there's this idea in the world, the kingdom that I live in terms of my work, yoga and wellness, of what spirituality is. And I always say, when I race triathlons, I found 90% of those people to be more spiritual than anybody that I knew from a yoga studio. There are people who think that what I do is out of alignment of being a yoga teacher and not spiritual. And I respectfully disagree. I am deeply spiritual. I believe in grounded spirituality. I went through a lot of the more foo-foo esoteric aspects of yoga. I'm not really into the new age things. I really respect all of my colleagues in the field that do what they do. I love sound healing, but I can tell you I can't go to a crystal bowl session. It's like my body and my brain don't like it at all. But drumming, I love. Kirtan, I used to do a ton of kirtan. I used to go listen to kirtan all the time, but for whatever reason, the crystal bowls just really upset my system. And I moved away from Reiki a little bit, and I got away from Kundalini and those more deeply, what I call more deeply spiritual, more esoteric practices of yoga, because it really didn't ground me. I would love to talk more about that, you know, in the height of a lot of mental health crises post-divorce. And working with professionals, you know, I had a lot of therapy. I've been in and out of therapy since I've been 13 years old. And, you know, there's really no shame for me in that. I'm halfway through a master's degree to become licensed as a clinical mental health counselor. I believe deeply in therapy. I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think it's something that you need to be beholden to, like, for your whole life, but I think it's really good to zip in and out of, and to know that it's there, and to be humble enough to admit that you need help, I think is important. And so when I was deep in counseling post-divorce, I was diagnosed with complex trauma and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And I worked through a workbook, and I did a lot of deep healing work during that time. And I will tell you what, and again, I am only speaking from my experience. The only thing that helped me was therapy. All the spiritual stuff was very ungrounding, and it dug a lot of my trauma deeper, because there was a lot of spiritual bypassing. There was a lot of push for me to forgive before I was ready to forgive. I think that oftentimes, especially women that come out of abusive relationships, and I'm only saying that because statistically speaking, the rates of abuse are higher for men against women than women against men. I know many men who have been abused, and I'm also speaking from the perspective of a woman, so I'm not taking anything away from our men. I know that men endure this, so please don't put words in my mouth or, you know, anything like that. But I found it all very ungrounding. It dug a lot of the trauma more deeply. I worked with therapists who were more spiritually aligned, and they really messed me up. And I found an extremely grounded therapist, and it was CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And I worked with her for 2 years, and I saw her consistently. And it was really the most grounding, rooted thing that I could have done for myself in that moment. I was also going to some Al-Anon meetings, and I was working through the 12 steps, not with a sponsor, on my own. I know that's not recommended in that world, but I was very comfortable and confident that I could work through those steps on my own. I had many people that were in the programs who I was running things by, etc. So I did a lot of that, and I'm more into self-directed healing and learning per se, beyond getting that professional help, which I knew that I needed at that time. And now I'm more self-directed in nature, and then I turn to professional higher levels of care when I know that I need them. So my whole point of sharing this is that really had a profound effect on me. And I really vowed that I would try to be the most present, grounded, rooted, centered person for clients. And that includes yoga students moving forward. And so I moved away by choice from a lot of the more esoteric practices. I'm not a new ager. I don't want to be associated with any of that, to be quite frank and honest. And I really pride myself on relaying information in a practical, pragmatic way, and being very grounded and down to earth, you know, for people. And I think that is a gift that I am able to offer people. And so you will see with some of my new endeavors and my new business name and my new model that is really what I am seeking in offering and providing to other people. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. I just wanted to do a video format of this because oftentimes people don't see posts or they have questions. The name is very intentional. You know, I told my daughters my business name, and they weren't very impressed. Which is totally fine. And it is a bit shamanic in nature and also biblical. And I love that. I feel like I'm pulling from the best of both worlds. So a little bit of that spiritual and a little bit of that biblical. I am in the Bible Belt. And I've really embraced that. And I'm diving deeper into the Bible and Christianity. And that is not, there is no push outside of me. This is coming from something very, very internal that has a lot to do with my brother. Those of you that know, passed away tragically in a hiking accident at Acadia National Park in Bar Harbor, Maine. And prior to his passing, he was baptized into his church. He became a born again Christian. We were raised Catholic. And I really loved watching his transformation, and that had a really big effect on me. And two things that I got from his passing, the only two things that I wanted, was his Bible and his crucifix. And I kid you not, I can't believe it. My heart's still not completely over it yet, but I lost his Bible in this last move, and it really tore me up inside. But it's made me think long and hard about certain things. And so there's some things inside of me that are shifting. And with that will come, as always, our internal shifts are expressed externally. And so the blending of certain things is something that I always tend to do, pulling on different lineages, different traditions. And I think that Christianity and the Bible and Jesus are on the uptake for me, and a little bit more of the direction that I am headed. And I will also be doing that in the most grounded, pragmatic, practical way as well, because I think just diving into the more esoteric aspects of things has never been really beneficial for me, personally. And I'm just speaking for me. So I have a womb wellness workshop coming up May 11th at Pillar Holistic Living in Greenville. I'm very excited about that. I absolutely adore Brian and Dr. Jen Caruso. So super stoked about that. This will be my second workshop there if we get registration. So fingers crossed, because I'm really passionate about a lot of womb wellness for women. I think it's needed. And then I have a ton of events coming up for yoga and trail rides, and aerial yoga and trail rides, and a possible wellness retreat on May 20th. I have a really cute Facebook group called Upstate SC Yeehaw Yoga and Trail Rides at JMG Ranch. Please hop on there if you'd like to stay up to date. And I have the retreat June 2nd to the 4th, and that is an aerial yoga wellness retreat. It is all inclusive in Campobello, South Carolina. The venue is stunningly beautiful. And I have about 2 spots left for that. And then there will be some other events and retreats coming up in June and July with some new partnerships. And I'm actually starting a new job, and I might be starting another new job. And there might be another move in my future very soon. So lots of exciting changes. With it comes a little bit of upheaval and chaos. That seems to be the theme of my life in general. And I've become very adept at that. For someone who's never liked change, I am starting to handle it with a heck of a lot more grace and dignity. So kudos to me for that. Although sometimes I do temper fit like Veruca Salt, one of my favorite characters, my favorite movie. Daddy, I want a Loompa Loompa. And that could very much be me sometimes. So sometimes I stomp my foot, and then I take a deep breath and I get over myself much more quickly than I used to. Oh my goodness, do you hear that? No idea what that was about. Holy heck, he needs yoga. All right, y'all. Love to you all. And I will be on soon with a few more announcements and a yoga video, which I keep saying, but I'm gonna do it sooner than later. Ciao.